Welcome, my friends. Today we have the Power Dragon attack, which I'm coining. It's the three things. Hopefully you've been watching these videos. These bases that we're going to look at are going to be able to give you the success rate of over 70% if you see any of these combinations. So the first one is looking sweeper positions. If you see a base where you can enter very nicely with the sweeper positions like this one, go for it. That's one of the Q elements. The other one is, can you use ice golems to distract? Now, in this one, doesn't bring ice golems, but however, this base does have weaknesses to the ice golem distracting for the wizard tower. And then the third, of course, is your entry point for the dragons. You know, with that, obviously, the funnel, king, and queen, but the entry point. Those three things, if you can get any two of those combinations, your success rate is going to be over 70%. If you get all three, I mean, you're just golden out the city. Now, sometimes things can happen. I will show you I might show you a fail. I have three stars. I might show you my fail because it was a fresh hit, and timing's everything. If it really is. So, sometimes things happen in the moment. Tesla Farms can really mess you up on a fresh hit, for sure. So he does not bring any cleanup. Now, I would suggest bringing cleanup. I've actually time failed with this just because the bats kind of died out, didn't have enough. I would drop one loon and bring 2 minions and a goblin, or 2 goblins, or archer and a minion or something like that, right? That's kind of what I would do. I think it's worth totally dropping a loon. The one loon's not going to save you in the end, okay? Like right there. The loons are going out in front, but those aren't worth it. Right, you can save one of those loons, my personal opinion. But notice there's no sweepers on these dragons. He's taking 2 Inferno Towers down, even with the damage CC, not going to be a problem. He decides to bring in the Slammer with the dragons. He certainly could have used Slammer elsewhere. He could have used it at the Wizard Tower, kind of on the back section. He doesn't have an Ice Golem here for the 5 o'clock side, which I think probably would have been helpful. I personally would have brought one here just to make sure the bats don't die out. Now, I know he has a freeze spell, right? I know that, but, you never know. You just never know. It is worth dropping one of those dragons. He does freeze it, and they are able to take him down. The red bomb anyway takes him out, but say, for instance, you didn't have a freeze. Maybe you had to use it earlier. This base specifically, he was able to get both Infernos, so he didn't need another freeze. But other bases, if you kind of can see the Wizard Tower being able to be distracted by the Ice Golem, then, Again, Power Dragon attack. He had he had a great entry point. With the sweepers, that's 2 of the 3, and he didn't need the Ice Golems, just kind of the base layout. So as I said, he crushed it. I mean, that was a massacre, okay? I got another base here for you, 24, actually featuring moi himself. And this time, notice, every attack strategy a bit different. I have an Ice Golem. I have a different spell combination, no poison. So all these things kind of change. You notice I have the 2 goblins. Now, Ron Jeremy, CJ, he did see this plan. I thought about a DragBat here, something similar to his. I thought about maybe doing a queen walk with dragons or something, but then he was like, nah, just do straight DragBat. I was like, okay. So, we'll just watch the replay. And again, this time, of course, not going to have to be facing any of these sweepers. Look at the combination. Power, this is what I've coined, the Power DragBat. Now, it's not just DragBat. Now, a lot of people just throw down DragBats. They'll just do a funnel and boom. No, this is Power DragBat. This is the things you're looking for. If you go through all the 11s, you can spot these combinations. Sweeper placement, okay, and then can you get any Ice Golem action? If you can't, that's okay. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you can. And then, of course, your entry point for the dragons themselves, very important elements, okay? So, Queen here. Now, Ice Golem, just because of this base layout, there's really no good Ice Golem placement. Now, I thought about maybe putting one there at 10, but you'd have to invest a number of loons to take down the mortars for it to be effective. Not really worth the camp space. That's where I brought the freeze. Okay, I thought this Tesla was going to screw me over. Thankfully, the Queen was still able to get that air defense. Queen did some good work here. Now, unfortunately here, I thought the King would go for the gold storage. He went in. I didn't really like that. I did not like that at all. So I had an early Slammer on purpose because I was going to bring my bats in at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock side. I did not want to have my loons trigger any bombs is a good thing, because in my other attack, I failed because the red bombs were triggered by the loons because my slammer was a bit too late. It does make a difference. Sometimes you just can't predict that. You know, sometimes it does go bad luck for you, and that's kind of when you fail, okay? Hound out in front. Dragons out in front. Notice, even with the damage CC, now they will get slowed up a bit. You notice the dragons did get on those witch skeletons, unfortunately. But it's okay. It's okay. A bunch of skeleton spells here. You can still take on the damage here. Probably should have popped ward in there, but I decided to wait. Now I'm going to freeze up. Bats come in early on purpose. Probably didn't need that other freeze, but I did it to make sure. I get a decent split with the bats, actually. Now this one wasn't a blowout, right? I think, the one thing that slowed me down was the damage CC. Now, in the previous hit, he brought a poison. It really helped those witches and the skeletons. Notice my dragons kind of got distracted. They kind of got distracted, unfortunately. But, I have 2 loons in the bag. Now, this one was a time closeness. You weren't here, so it came down to about 2 seconds left. I kind of waited a bit too long on my dragons. I let the slammer kind of go its course. I should have brought in the dragons a bit sooner. So definitely almost time failed here. Thankfully, I got good splits here at the end and had a dragons up. I mean, it's pretty powerful attack. 4 dragons up, 2 loons, not many bats. It wasn't a massacre of a hit, but still, as I said before, if you can get those combinations, your success rate is going to go skyrocketing to success. We'll speed this one up, because we're 6 minutes in. I kind of want to show you the fail so you can learn something. If you want to learn something, stick around. If you've watched this far, say you want to learn something in the comments. I would help know that you watched this far. And where's 15? So CJ coming in again. Now this is Ron Jeremy, CJ himself. Now all these sort of attacks are very different. 13 dragons. I mean, this is so, you don't ever, I thought about drag-batting this base too, but I would have done it differently. I would have used, some, a little bit different activities, just because some of the wizard towers are so susceptible to the ice golems. There's so many ways to hit this base, but he does a nice job here. The only thing he didn't do correctly was the queen. Queen was supposed to grab the air defense here. And I think he commented that he had to change up his plan. So I'm not sure. I think he might have originally wanted to come right into the expos. He might have wanted to do that. Queen she went different. He might have wanted to come straight into those expos there. I'm not sure his original entry point. I do know he said he had to change up the plan, so I don't know his original plan. But whatever he did it right. Slammer coming in hot, right out the air defense. Nicely done. Does a rage. Of course, you want to put the rage when you encounter the sweeper. It's the only way the dragons are going to get through. So don't do an early rage. If you did it too early, they get stuck by the sweeper. A little bit early on the warden ability, in my opinion. I mean, he's still 3-starred, obviously, right? But he could have waited just a little bit when the dragons came into the expos. These expos really pack a punch. He decides to freeze up right here. The last splash there. He could have done a bat wave from 12. That would have been fine. Just because the bats were going towards 9, you could have called the audible there, done a bat wave at 12, 1 o'clock. They would have swooped down from up top. Obviously, it doesn't matter. He massacred this base. As I said before, even with his slight mistake of the queen, his early warden, look what he was able to do. Now, in this one, it was, it was susceptible, man. It was susceptible. He did have to face a sweeper, but his entry point was solid. Very solid, as you can tell. And, of course, all the splash was taken out. The dragons took out all the splash early on, so wasn't a big deal. Now, let me go find my fail. Unfortunately, guys, this is what happens sometimes. I thought I was going to cry. This was a solid plan. I voiced it over. Fresh hit. I was like, man, I'm going to massacre this thing. 3 ice golems. Very rare, very weird, right? In hindsight, I did not need these, but of course, I wanted to put an ice golem here to protect the king. Unfortunately, the Tessa Pop did not know it was there. Ice golem here. I wanted to put the queen up higher. We debated between the army camps or at the lab. I went higher. Probably, honestly, if I went lower, I probably could have gotten away with just a giant there, or even an ice golem, so giving me an extra dragon, which 9 would have been helpful. So a couple things here that really hurt me. Now, the queen actually, her value was good, I thought. I was like, I was actually happy with the queen value, even with the ice golem. King value, unfortunately, was not the same. I thought he would get down to the archer tower. The Tessas here really messed me up, man. Really messed me up. And my other mistake here, and this is all about timing, I said before. So in this instance, I made a huge mistake. I should have put the slammer down first, let it die out. Notice I just swagged a hound, and it didn't soak up that black bomb. All these things going wrong, but I swagged a hound. I should have put the slammer in, let it go in, let it pop, and then bring in the hound and the dragons. So I didn't have enough firepower for the end. Okay? Now, I know and so because these loons were still up, the bats, yeah, they did their job, but look what happens here. Loons come in, they trigger the tornado trap, and then they're dead. Utterly dead. And my bats are gone. So if you were to clean this up, and because I was late on the slammer, we had dragons drift off. So how you would tweak that is let the slammer go in if you wanted to. Now, 12 hit this a little bit differently, which they crushed it too. He could have done what he did. Obviously, if a cleanup, there's many ways to fix this. But if you want to do a small tweak, just bring in the slammer sooner. Let it die out. Here, all the loons die. The dragons come in. The hound tanks for the dragons the whole time. And then they shift off over towards this side, and then you bat from 6 still, and then you 3-star. But hindsight, 2020. But anyways, as I said before, the littlest things can make a huge difference in these DragBats. Timing is a big thing. You can't just take down every base. That base was susceptible to it, and it ended up being 3-starred by it. The 12. But anyways, thanks again for watching. Appreciate it, guys. I'm on my 11 here, and I need to switch over to my 12 and do some attacks. Thanks again for watching. Halo out.